or something weird like that.
We're
And they
live.
used to have
That's what
every
it's telling
Wednesday,
me.
Yes,
every
it's
Are we
Tuesday or
live?
Wednesday night they'd have like all you could eat shrimp and crab legs.
It says it's
Oh,
live.
we used to
yeah.
figure that place out.
What
I
is that?
mean, you don't
And
have
we're
to
not.
interrupt this
We are
all you
live
can
now.
eat shrimp and crab leg conversation, though.
I saw
Getting
the
a little
red
bit of an
button
echo
go, and I was
though.
like, "Oh my gosh, if we're live, guys!"
We're live
Let me
Oh,
indeed.
we're
ask what
live.
the name is now.
What?
What name?
What name?
The name of what?
I
The
think
name of
it's
the
Mother Shuckers now.
Oh
Mother
yeah.
Shuckers.
Okay.
Never
Yeah,
heard
that
of
could be
it.
right. But it's not. It's only like one block off the ocean or so, and it's like around the other side of the main
It's like
drag from
one
the
block.
pier.
Yeah, yeah, one
Yeah.
block off Atlantic. Really, like just right there.
Yeah. Yep. That's it.
All right. So
There's
yes.
also a little place if
All
you
right.
head up if you head up, what is it, Ocean View Ave, right?
Hmm.
If you head up Ocean View Ave towards Norfolk, if you head up there, there's a little place on the left. It's called like, I don't know, crabs and fish I don't know. It had some crabs in the name. And it was just a little tiny restaurant, and there was this big black dude that cooked back. Oh my God, the food. Oh, that boy
Yeah.
was from the South, you could tell. Like everything he touched came out freaking amazingly delicious. And he was very humble. And if you
Hmm.
walked up and thanked him, he'd look at the ground. I mean, he was like 6'3", like this wide, big black dude. And he'd look at the ground and go, well, thank you, thank you. Like very
Aw.
timid, quiet
tonight's
guy. He was a
broadcast
sweetheart.
is brought to you by.
Capital L.
What?
I couldn't remember the name of the restaurant. What was it called? Something Shuckers.
Mother
Oh, I don't know what
Shuckers.
it was
Yeah.
called.
Yeah, I have no idea what we're
Maybe
talking
Crab
about.
Shack or something like that. Might have
Joe's
been. I don't
Crab
know.
Shack.
Oh, Joe's is like gone now. You guys have Joe still?
Oh,
No, they
did he
closed
not
our Joe's.
survive
No.
the pandemic?
I'm in the Midwest, so ours are probably the first to go since it costs so much to ship fresh seafood in every day.
Yeah, ours is gone.
Oh, that sucks. Wait, yeah. I know the one that was near us is gone. I've there's I don't know if it's a chain or not, but it's called Urban Crab Shack, which is right around the corner from me now, which is might be better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
but Joe's was
Casey and
Joe's is pretty.
Randy.
I used to do that a lot.
Casey and Randy said their Qdoba closed. Our Qdoba's still open.
Qdoba. Yeah, I know Qdoba's still open, and Subway. For the love of God, why is that still open? Like, why is it still a thing? I actually like Qdoba better. I'm not a big sandwich person, Subway, like a sub sandwich kind of person, but um, if I had to pick one to close, it would like, or at least to be more popular, it'd be Qdoba over Subway. And Subway, it just won't die.
Yeah,
Subway.
Subway's been
Eat
around for.
fresh.
You've even seen the $5 footlong song.
Yeah,
Uh,
Randy, no good eating here,
yeah.
alas.
Good evening, Big Bad Mama. Good to see ya.
Hey, Big Bad Mama, Casey, Randy, Kalasia is here, and I think that Spooky, love you, Spooky. Thank you for coming.
Spooky's
So,
everywhere.
should we start
No,
with?
Spooky is just here.
Anybody want to start with this news thing, or we could? I don't know if y'all wanted
No,
to mention.
I know you guys were like talking, and I didn't want to like interrupt, but yeah, um, I don't want it to go longer than 2 hours, but I have Beck sent me a couple of articles, and then I have a couple of videos that I wanted to see, kind of get your reactions on. I want to try to keep it light, but then Bree, I think you said you wanted to talk about something.
Yeah, yeah. Just
Do you see the share button at the bottom?
yeah. You want to start with mine? Okay.
Sure.
All right. Yeah. There we go. Share screen.
And we got some chat people. Hi, everybody.
There you go. Can you see it?
I found where the chat is now.
Let
So,
me see.
hi, everybody.
There we go.
There we go. Alligator pulled from New York City lake had swallowed a bathtub stopper. The alligator that was rescued from the chilly lake in New York City over the weekend had swallowed a bathtub stopper, authorities said. The nearly 5 foot long American alligator was lethargic and suffering from exposure to the cold when it was found in Brooklyn's Prospect Park Lake on Sunday, according to a spokesperson from the Bronx Zoo, when the gator was recovered. After being spotted by the park maintenance workers Sunday morning, the alligator was pulled from the lake and taken to Animal Care Center in New York City before it was brought to the Bronx Zoo. Zoo officials, if you look at the poor thing, look at how skinny and this is like this is kind of
Yeah.
the standard alligator in the sewer New York situation where these people in the city they adopt these because baby alligators only a few inches long, no longer than a foot when they're a baby, and people, I guess they underestimate what they're getting into, and once it gets too
Yeah.
big to handle and feed,
Mm.
and it's this coming in the wake of the Lyle the Crocodile movie with about the crocodile that lives in a Manhattan brownstone in a and they find it in the bathtub. It's kind of ironic considering that this poor creature had a bathtub stopper stuck in his gullet. But let's continue on. Zoo officials said in a news release that the rescued alligator is too weak to eat on its own and is being tube fed. At 15 pounds, the alligator is
Oh.
extremely emaciated, as an alligator of this length should weigh 30 to 35 pounds, they said. X-rays show that the estimate alligator estimated to be 5 or 6 years old had ingested a 4-inch bathtub stopper. Zoo officials said, noting the animal is too weak for veterinarians to try to remove it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It is illegal to have an alligator in New York State, but it is
I would
not
hope.
uncommon for people to buy alligators and
What is
then
the point of
abandon
that?
them. Yeah.
Why, like, what are you going to do with an alligator? It's like, okay, I have this pet alligator, and under the best of circumstances, what do I think is going to happen? I mean, I'm not going to take it for walks around the block.
Well,
Yeah,
you
it's gonna
might
get
hate your neighbor, and they might have like a chihuahua or something, and so like it's perfect for that.
Spackle.
I mean, I don't know what other purpose I'm making up
a
reasons.
gasp.
Let's be okay. Let me tell all you ladies what it is. It's a guy that does not feel adequate enough.
So the alligator
They
is
do
an
it to show
extension
off to
of
their
his
friends
penis.
and yeah, they do it to show off to friends and try to get laid. That's all it is.
There
They're
is
insecure
a
about themselves and they
possibility.
go buy all these stupid pets, and then when they get full size, they throw them out in the street and they're like, "There's a tiger roaming the streets." You know, that's what happens.
Yeah.
It's been going on like this for fucking decades, from what I remember.
Well, in the 70s and 80s, they put in all these wild animal laws in place, right, where people couldn't have
Yep.
them anymore, and people started would just release them instead of
Well,
registering
yeah,
them.
no, that's really bad. There's actually been a lot of, well, God, there's the pandemic puppies where people would think, hey, I would like to have a dog. Oh, wait, dogs are way more work than I thought. Here, I'm going to give the dog back. And there's so many. Like, there's like almost an epidemic of like animals being re-released or taken back, I guess, to, PetSmart or wherever the fuck they got it from. It was insane. But,
Hmm.
if it's something like an animal or like a rabbit or a pet, what do you call it, lizard or snake, they'll just fucking
Hmm.
release it into the wild. It's
Oh
just
yeah,
like,
they used
well,
to find
wild animals.
iguanas
It'll
and
be
stuff.
fine out there. And I'm like, what the? This thing, you got this thing as a baby. What the fuck does it know about living in the wild? It's like, well, instincts. No, no. Like these, a lot of stuff that are instincts are actually also learned behavior. A lot of these things are just sitting ducks. A pet rabbit in the wild, like
Hmm.
sitting duck,
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm gonna sun myself up in the open. Hi, bird.
right?
It's like a hawk
Oh,
circling,
what's that? And then, an actual wild snake comes and it's like, oh, yeah, thanks for the treat. I just, it is Oh my God. I just thinking about what people do with their pets or how they go into these situations, not understanding the actual, like,
Well, the worst situation is the inverse of that rabbit scenario. You're people releasing, especially in places like Florida, southern Texas,
Those
people
pythons.
releasing pythons, and they found a Nile crocodile in Florida. Which, if you understand the difference between an alligator and a crocodile, you know why it's a problem that they found a Nile crocodile
Yeah.
in
yeah.
Florida.
That
Yeah.
biting power is like
I'm
it's
sorry.
like
You know
up
what?
and down, right?
We're all like, yeah, yeah, we totally understand. Moving on. Would you like to explain for anyone watching or listening
So,
why this is a problem?
um, alligators have a slower metabolism, like a way slower metabolism than crocodiles. So they can live in colder climates, live further north, live places where it freezes over. Not up in New York, unfortunately, but all the way up to regions like the uh, swamps of Arkansas. It's probably about the furthest north I can think that they live,
We have
because
them
they have
here. We have them in the Great Dismal Swamp here in
no,
coastal Virginia, naturally.
yeah. Yeah, and they're just and they do fine over a mild winter. Crocodiles can't do that. So, but crocodiles being from a tropical climate where the heat that their metabolism receives is consistent, are much more mobile and athletic. The problem with Nile crocodiles is they come from the continent of Africa, where they evolved alongside hominids, and we are a natural food source for them. So,
Hmm.
uh, alligators don't see us as food generally. They really only rarely attack anybody. Alligators, again, pretty lethargic, and they're more likely to eat aquatic prey than like turtle. Their jaws are especially good for crushing turtle shells and things like that. Whereas Nile crocodiles are just, their bodies are evolved to tackle large mammals, way larger mammals than you and me. So
Yeah.
they have a natural instinct to go after hominid prey, and having that in Florida, which is full of I believe the country's biggest idiots, is probably not a good idea.
And old
Green
people who can't
iguanas
run
also.
fast.
What's that?
I said, and old people who can't run fast.
Yeah, and old people who can't run fast, exactly, who are out there feeding the ducks,
I find that
come to
there's
the edge of the.
there's a lot of people that give up on their snakes because they can't keep up with the feeding. So like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and so they're just like, oh, like I just can't go through all these rabbits. Sorry, be
Or you
free.
get like a Indian python or reticulated python, African rock pythons. These guys get huge, like hundreds of pounds, and like
Hmm.
and they can kill you. It,
And they're
there's
smart. They can get out of enclosures way easier than
and
people
strong,
realize.
stronger than
Yeah.
you'll ever you as strong as you think they are. They're 10 times stronger than that. All
Oh my
right.
God.
Well, that is my news story for the evening. Yeah, but the alligator, it's kind of a feel-good story. The alligator was rescued, but seeing the condition it's in and all the permanent damage that was probably done to its development because of this, yeah, it's never going to be able to be released into the wild. It's probably going to have to live the rest of its life in captivity.
Poor
But
alligator.
yeah, that comes with associating humans with food too. But I'm glad that, because what kind of cruel person would dump an alligator in a Brooklyn pond in the middle of February? It
Bitches.
just seems it just seems unreasonably cruel. And yeah, so exotic pets. If you now, believe me, I have a myriad of exotic animals behind me. I understand the desire to own and keep exotic animals, but there are certain species, certain species that grow to certain sizes that we just shouldn't have as pets, right? That just don't make good pets. And I'm not telling anybody they can't have one. If you are an enthusiast and you have room to provide proper facilities for an animal like this, and you are willing to go that extra mile, I will come to your house and ask if I can feed it. I'm not going to judge you as long as you're taking care of it. I've seen people like Aaron Ra has huge snakes all
Oh
around him
yeah.
now, and
He's
he's
apt to bring them out and show 'em, parade them around on stream.
Mm-hmm.
And
And he,
Nervardia
yeah, she used to
too. Yeah.
bring her snakes out all the time too. So
Hmm.
yeah, you can have these exotic animals, and you can show them, and but you got to be able to take care of them. If you can't take care of it, don't even start. And if you do get to a point where you can no longer take care of it, there's usually programs you can donate them to. You don't have to release them into the wild, especially not into the wild that you know they're not going to survive. Because New York is obviously not a good environment for a alligator. Okay, all right. That is my piece. Thank
Yes.
you so much
No,
for
very important PSA there.
giving me
Oh,
the floor for the opening. Oh,
they're
sorry.
dropping people are dropping connections left and right.
I just dropped the share.
No,
Oh,
yeah, I think Beck and oh wait, okay, Pickle's still here.
Yeah, I just like to mute in between so you don't hear me breathing like a cow.
Yeah. No,
well, if
can
we meet,
relate. Can relate. So Beck has been having issues with his internet. I think since our Christmas streams. So let's see. He gave
is
me a
there a way on
couple.
this platform to change our avatar?
We were just talking about that before you came in. Yeah, I think you have to download an avatar or have one, like whatever your YouTube picture is, if you know where that is, you can actually just go to that destination and
Yeah.
oh, I probably help if I removed you.
I'll be right back. I
Fine.
need to do
Okay.
that.
Remove me.
No, don't. Not out of the airlock.
Yeah, I know, not out of the airlock.
I don't know.
But all
Oh,
right. So I thought this was kind of interesting. It's talking about astronomy. I haven't read it because God damn it. You know what? I'm just never going to get this right. Um, he dropped these into my Twitter like 5 seconds before we went live. Um, So, a team of astronomers has discovered an unusual planetary system in which a large gas giant planet orbits a small red dwarf star called TI 5205. Their findings challenge long held ideas about planet formation. Led by this person from Carnegie Institute of Science, the researchers published their findings in the Astronomical Journal. Smaller and cooler than our sun, M dwarfs are the most common stars in the Milky Way galaxy due to their small size. These stars tend to be about half as hot as the sun and much redder. They have very low luminosities but extremely long lifespans. Although red dwarfs host more planets on average than other more massive types of stars, their formation histories make them unlikely candidates to host gas giants. So I'm assuming we found a gas giant. The newly discovered planet was first identified as a potential candidate by NASA's Transforming Exoplanet Survey satellite TESS. Um, Canodia's team, which includes some people, then confirmed the planetary nature and characterized it as using a variety of ground-based instruments and facilities. The host star is about 4 times the size of Jupiter, yet it somehow has managed to form a Jupiter-sized planet, which is quite surprising.
that's huge.
Yeah, I don't even like if you can see here, like I don't even know how that forms. Like during the planetary disk, does like I don't know. It's like the planet
So
is
this
trying to.
brings to mind how they always say that Jupiter is like a failed star or whatever.
Yeah,
So is this other?
I've heard that claimed, but Jupiter's actually pretty common. Um,
For it to be the size it is in relation to the star
that's huge. Yeah,
of that size, it's
yeah.
got to have some kind of a magnetic solid core. I'm no astrophysicist, but I have
Nor
a
am
little bit of
I.
a working knowledge. So, yeah, that's just it would have you would think that it would have to have some kind of a
When it says size of,
magnetically charged.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the protoplanetary disk. Like, what the fuck was going on where
Right.
this was getting so much attention. And I know that if, well, again, not an astrophysicist, but I know that they said that I think Jupiter and Saturn formed much closer, and then for whatever
We're
reason
pushed
moved,
out.
yeah, were pushed out, allowing for the formation of the rocky planets. And thanks a lot for that. But so, I mean, I guess if that doesn't happen, does it just eat up all the interplanetary mass
I
and
mean,
grow to be like huge? Like,
yeah.
I don't understand. I don't know. It's pretty cool. I didn't know that
How
this could
close is
happen.
its orbit in comparison to?
Let's see.
Does it give us any more details about that?
Oh
Or
yeah.
if is it when it says the same size? Is it the same mass and density as well as Jupiter?
No, I
No,
wouldn't think
it.
so.
I think it said it's 4 times the size. Yeah, it says it's 4 times the size of Jupiter.
The dates, okay, hang on. Three
That's
quarters of a
absolutely
galaxy.
massive. I mean,
Yeah.
Wow.
wow.
Until now, no gas giant has been found in a planetary system around a low mass M dwarf like this. To grasp the size comparison here, a Jupiter like planet orbiting a sun like star could be compared to a pea going around a grapefruit. For this to become the host star, to is so much smaller, is more like a pea going around a lemon.
Mm.
And when it crosses in front of the star, it blocks about 7% of its light. Like, holy shit. No, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't want to pretend like I understand how big this is, but I mean, the article is saying it's changing the way we think that stars and planets form within
There's
systems.
talking about the planetary disk right there.
Planets are born in a rotating disk of gas and dust that's surrounding stars. The most commonly used theory of gas planet formation requires about 10 Earth masses of this rocky material to accumulate and form a massive rocky core, after which it rapidly sweeps up large amounts of gas from the neighboring regions of the disk to form the giant planet we see today. Time frame in which this happened is crucial. This planet's existence stretches what we know about disk in which these planets are born. Um, in the beginning, if there isn't enough rocky material in the disk to form the initial core, then it cannot form a gas giant planet. And at the end, if the disk evaporates away before the massive core is formed, then one cannot form a gas giant planet. And yet, TOI 5205b formed despite these guardrails. Based on our nominal current understanding of planet formation, TOI 5205b should not exist. It is a forbidden planet.
Ooh, that's a movie, Forbidden Planet. Did you know that?
No, I mean, that's pretty cool, I think. I don't know. Maybe I just get overwhelmed at weird shit. But
Oh, I think it's cool. Yeah, it's really.
Kind of reminds me of Pluto in its star Charon, or it's a star, its
oh,
moon
it's
Charon.
moon. Yeah, that
Yeah.
either it broke apart or I don't know. Is there a theory with that? I think it was kind of like our moon theory where something ran into it, and
Yeah, I mean, I think
I think that's the
that's
leading
the
thing.
leading theory on it.
I
Yeah,
haven't
I believe
looked
so.
into it in a while, but Pluto, man, I could we could really go on and on about Pluto. It when the last mission went by, it was that 2016. We learned so much shit about Pluto. We used to think that it was just like this like ice rock kind of floating around, outside of Neptune's orbit. And then we find out it's like what we thought was one thing is five. And,
Yeah,
they're reasonably certain that when it's closest to the sun, it has a very low atmosphere. And I'm just like, holy shit. I love the little heart that's in Pluto. I think that's really cool. And, like
Oh, the
how it's
pictures that we got at Pluto this last time around were freaking great compared to what we'd
amazing.
had before. Like,
Well, yeah, no, it was just like this fuzzy little, like, pixelated thing. Like a 5-year-old could do a better
like from
job.
1998 or something.
Right,
Like, and it
right.
was a big deal when we got those pictures in '98.
Yeah,
It's like, oh my gosh, look how clear Pluto is. Because before that, it was just like a star.
yeah. I remember when they were when they were first sending out the it wasn't Voyager. What was it? Whatever it was. I was really excited about it because Pluto's always intrigued me for whatever reason, and they I've always wanted to know more about it. I was thinking it would be this like Mercury kind of deal, just maybe green or bluish instead of or maybe a pewter color. But it's actually insanely intriguing when you look into
Well,
it.
I mean, with those pictures, don't they colorize it though? Or is that the
Well,
actual?
yeah, I mean they colorize Earth pictures. It's really hard to find a non-colorized picture of the Earth.
Yeah, I think was it the New Horizons, the one that's going like it took the last pictures, right? The New
Probably,
Horizon mission.
probably.
Okay.
I'd have to look into
Um,
it, but yeah, I remember looking at all the videos that came out of the pictures that it was sending back, and it was yeah, beautiful. They've sent out ones of like Uranus and Neptune, which wow. I mean, they're very colorful. They're kind of like what do I think of them as? Easter eggs. It's just like,
yeah,
ooh,
like blue, like
pretty.
one of them's a okay. Neptune's the really dark, like cobalt blue, or
Hmm. Yeah,
and then
Uranus is
and
that
then
not
there's almost
green,
white.
but
Yeah,
yeah, it's
it's
very
like a
light.
minty color.
Yeah, yeah, that thing. And I think one of them is it Uranus is almost completely on. Is that the one that's almost completely on its side, the
Yeah, it's
rotation?
Uranus.
And I
Um,
thought that was really intriguing. I don't know how you come up with a model for how that happens. Again, we're assuming something ran into it. Because, like, how else do you get that? I would have loved to see that, though. Man, to be a fly on the
oh,
wall whenever the fuck happened. That would
yeah,
be
I would like
cool.
to just rewind and watch the our solar system form in slow motion, or not in slow motion, in fast forward. Just watch it.
Yeah, it would
That'd be
have to be
amazing.
insanely fast forward because you try to cover like 4 billion years there. But what do you call it? It's Titan flatters me. Like you're already mod. I don't know what else to do for you. um,
Yeah.
it's spooky. Be nice to Titan.
He can't prove that he's not drunk, though. I mean, there's just no way. We can't do a breathalyzer, so you can't say Spooky's lying.
I can't say Spooky's lying. These are facts.
Spooky always chastises me. He calls me an alcoholic all the time. He's alcoholic shames me.
Hey, Spooky, no kink shaming. You know whatever Spackle has to do. Jokes, jokes. All right. I'm gonna switch up some shit. Oh, yeah, this is gonna be fun. I don't know who's heard of this, but it's the worst thing in the whole wide world that has happened this week.
Is the Peeps flavored Pepsi any good? Let's find out. Welcome to Kasabi's Cool Drinks. My curiosity got the best of me for this one. Peeps flavored Pepsi, or as I call it, Peepsy. Honestly, not looking very forward to this, but I have to
Student
know how it
Dr.
tastes.
Ben comes to mind.
Here goes nothing.
I'm gonna try one.
It is like immediate. Like you barely get the soda into your mouth and you're tasting marshmallow already, and it's overwhelming. It's just too much. Oh, God, that is terrible. Usually with sodas like this, you kind of taste the Pepsi or whatever the base is first, and then you get like the added flavor after that. This
I
is
like
just
marshmallow. Maybe
immediate
I'll like it.
marshmallow. It's not subtle. It is strong. It is a very strong Peeps flavor. So what do I give Peepsy? 1.5 out of 10. I'm only giving you points because you actually taste like marshmallow. That's it. There's nothing redeeming about this soda, and I have herpes. This is gross.
Well, cheers now, everybody. So here's my thought. I'm gonna be honest with you, this is basically a sweeter version of Pepsi. Sure, it's got some marshmallow flavor, but not really enough to where I'd say it's worth picking up.
Tastes like vanilla Pepsi.
It is very vanilla.
Very vanilla. Okay. Thoughts?
Well, I mean, I like vanilla in Coke.
I'll try it.
But I don't know. This is a little. It sounds like a
You
lot.
could
I
not
think it's pretty
pay
sweet,
me
though.
enough. There's no way. Nope. No.
Yeah, people talk a lot about people pandering to what do you call it? We're not even up to Valentine's Day. This is more like a Easter. I say candy, but Easter.
We had
drink?
Valentine's
Is
Day.
that-
Valentine's Day is February 14th.
Oh wait, we did have Valentine's Day. We just okay. So the next one would be I don't know what month I'm
St.
in.
Patrick's Day.
You say, wait,
St.
when
Patrick's Day, yeah.
is Easter? So
Oh, yeah.
what I know
April,
about
I think?
Easter is
Or
it's the
March.
first Sunday following the first full moon after the equinox.
I mean, if you're going
That's
to
good.
add Peeps Pepsi to Easter, then I would like to rename Easter to Pure Hell Holiday. Because what? Yeah.
Pure hell holiday.
I do like
What?
Pepsi. I probably will.
always been
eat
Easter
Pepsi, I'm
holiday
not gonna
stuff.
lie.
Peeps. I couldn't eat Peeps as a kid because they had faces. I have a problem with eating anything with a face.
Oh my goodness!
So,
Oh, so
I'm
you're not-
traumatized.
You're not a full shrimp eater.
I'm allergic to shellfish, so I don't eat it at all. But no,
I
I
love it when
can't.
they leave
Ooh.
the faces on the shrimp. I was like, yay, more shrimp for me. Like nobody will eat them. But yeah, Peeps. I don't know.
I mean-
Between Peeps and what are those little triangle things for Halloween?
Candy corn.
Candy corn. Yeah, between the two of those, like I don't know what we're doing.
So,
If I was on an island and those were my two options, I would starve to death happily with a smile on my face.
so
I would
unpopular
eat
here.
both. I would
Sometimes
take both.
I like Peeps. Sometimes I go, oh, I think I want to try a Peep, and I put one in my mouth and I let it all dissolve. I'm like, okay. And I go and try another Peep, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, second one, totally feeling sick.
Do
So,
they not
Mark-
have Mark? Do they not have Peeps in I don't know, Aussie land?
So Peeps are like it's basically a marshmallow whip that comes out hot and it whipped and it looked like a chicken and they said, hey, let's put some eyes on that. Call it a Peep, and they sprinkle different colored
Yeah.
sugar on it and sell it to children. And then they started to make them in bunny shapes and what else they got them for Christmas and was it reindeer shapes and stuff like that.
It's a fast track to diabetes. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
So my preferred
It's
color is yellow because for some reason it tastes better. I don't know why.
yellow tastes better. Oh, look, Google knows.
But they do make for colorful poops. So if you don't enjoy the taste, you can force them down just to get the enjoyment of the colorful poops.
Yeah, Peeps. I don't even know what to say about Peeps. I do not like them. They're not tasty.
I do like Peeps, so I'm gonna push back on you.
No, everybody is allowed to have a bad take, and you know those
I
of
like
you who
candy
like
corn,
Peeps,
too.
You got your thing.
Like cotton candy and candy corn, anything that's sweet that's gonna be bad for my teeth. I'm like, nom, nom, nom.
Whoever is the one that messed up the jelly beans with the black one, that one that
Oh.
has like a spice.
No,
to
I
it.
like those. Those I'll eat.
No, black jelly beans are the worst.
I always hand
They're
them to my
lit-
husband. Here.
Am I just
Like-
got terrible taste buds or what? Because I'm like,
Wait,
yeah,
you like
these are
the black
good.
jelly beans?
Black
Wait, you
licorice
like-
is the flavor.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I thought black licorice just went without saying, but
Mhm.
you know,
No,
Brie,
not black licorice either.
I love you so much, and I'm just
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm damaged
no,
goods.
you're
What?
holy shit. Now we got to do a Brie love fest. God damn
No,
it.
I just like the black jelly beans. They call to me and I eat some candy corn. Actually, they don't like candy corn from nostalgia. Just mallow creams in general from Halloween nostalgia. that smell and the taste makes me think that Halloween is coming, which was like my favorite holiday as a kid. So that's why I like candy corn. I think Peeps might have a similar origin story, being the flavor of Easter.
Candy corn. But then I grew up. I love you so much, Brie.
And I'm just saying that black jelly beans are not my favorite jelly beans. They're on like the lower end, but I don't dislike them.
Um, Two monkeys taken from the Dallas Zoo in a suspicious event. Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Yeah, so this is another vid. This is another story that Beck shared with me. Um, Again, have not read it. This is from January 30th, and I'm kind of
Regardless
like
of what pans out here, that is the most glorious mustache I've ever seen.
oh yeah, yeah. It's kind of
He's
giving Richard a run for his money. Like,
he's dapper AF.
all right, so two monkeys were taken from the Dallas Zoo on Monday, police said, and the latest in a string of odd incidents at the attraction being investigated, including fences being cut and the suspicious death of an endangered vulture in the past few weeks. What the fuck is going on in Texas?
Ooh.
Look,
I've been saying that for about 15 years now.
It's
So
that
to be
Guys,
fair.
werewolf that they caught. They
take
took a picture
some charisma classes. Like this whole like string of animal fucking is getting out of hand. Holy shit. All right, no arrests have been made in any of the investigations. You know what? I'm not surprised because when women are raped in Texas, I think it was like 75% of the cases go unsolved. So like, why should it be any different
Jeez.
with animals?
They have found by now the update. They have found the guy who took the monkeys.
Oh wait, is that okay? Maybe that's a more updated one that has.
That's like it was like a week and a half ago. So
Okay. Like, yeah, I haven't kept up on any of these animal things. I don't know if you've noticed, but like a lot of evangelicals have been trying to take away a lot of my rights, to like be a woman or like
right.
marry non-black people or, just, exist, have an education. Been a little more focused on those things, but
Right.
no, animals. I actually like animals. And Brie and her, I don't think, no, it wasn't this week. It was last week. I believe Brie was going off in her rant where she got, I don't want to speak for you, Brie. Didn't you get kicked out of something for being an animal lover?
What?
Yeah, actually, we got kicked out of a invasive species awareness group because
What?
of it. It was kind of
Jeez.
because they got mad because I was explaining how from a non-anthropocentric position that the Anthropocene extinction event is like orders of magnitude worse than the Holocaust, just to try to give them an aspect of,
Right.
of how bad it is. And oh yeah, that pissed a lot of people off. I don't know why. They care about animals, but they refuse
We don't want to do anything, with the humans. Like,
Yeah.
It's human
Humans
nature to
should-
want to kill the prophet, and the prophet isn't a fortune teller. He just tells it as it is, and it's honest. And so, like, here you are sharing honest science, and they want to kill the prophet. That's how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
I was just-
understand how you advocate for animals and not say, hey, humans are the ones. I mean, I would think it would be like obvious. Like, hey, we fucked it up. Like these people, man, I remember,
We're gonna
I
have
can't
to make
remember
a
what
law
it
against
was.
curriculum that says we fucked it up.
I know, right? Or a t-shirt made, like, we fucked it up. What? All
You're
of
not
it.
allowed to tell
All
them
of it,
we
everything.
fucked it up.
Every single
Hey, don't-
everything.
Florida's gonna pass the "Don't Say Climate Change" bill.
Oh, it's coming.
They're coming for it. It's coming. Yes.
No, but like there were I think it was like crap. Well, I think it was the coast of Florida and there were like sea turtles or something and they couldn't figure out where to because a lot of animals, especially aquatic ones, they have like the internal navigation systems. Sorry, getting over a cold. And they were trying to figure out where to lay their eggs, but they couldn't because we fucked up something. And so now we're like fucking with their numbers because they
Yeah,
don't.
the Gulf Stream. We fucked the Gulf Stream
Yeah,
up.
it was something
Well,
over there.
That's the problem with the way people think about climate change in general. Is they think about what we see on the surface here. When the biggest impacts are going to be oceanic, right? And those are happening now. We see We see ecological shifts because the chemical balances in the water, the glacier melt water coming into the
Mm-hmm.
and the just the glaciers dying in general, just melting off, changes the composition. That's why, what was it, we were missing two some billion snow, not snow crabs, which crabs was it, this last crab season? They had to cancel the season because
Yeah.
there wasn't enough to even have a sustainable fishery. So they
Right.
had to hold it back. 2 billion of these crabs are missing from the ecosystem, and they want and we see these water table shifts and changes in the chemistry in the water because of the changes in temperature that make it non-sustainable for these organisms to propagate in. It's really sad, and people just ignore it because it's not impacting humans.
Is Spooky talking about Brie? I think everybody else is from a coast.
West Coast. I don't know.
He's like, I don't know. Brie, don't you be going Wisconsin on me. Oh, nope, not Brie. I don't know.
Oh, it's me.
Where are you? I'm sorry, not where
I
are
am
you now, but where were you raised, reared? Where'd you get the accent from?
Michigan. Michigan.
Oh,
So
yeah,
close.
nope, yeah, right there, right there. That's pretty good, Spooky. It's pretty good. All right, okay. What are we talking about? Oh, god damn it, AP. No, I do not want to pay you for shit. I just want to read your free article here, and thank you for that. All right. It was clear the habitat had been intentionally compromised, the zoo said in a statement that offered few other details. The incident follows the January 13th closure of the zoo and a day-long search when a clouded leopard named Nova went missing. She was eventually found near her habitat, but police said a tool had been used to cut an opening in its fence. A similar gash was also found in an enclosure of, is it Langer monkeys, Brie? Langer?
Yeah,
Langur?
Langer.
Though none got out. January 21, an endangered vulture named Penn was found dead, and the zoo said the death had not appeared to be natural. Zoo president and CEO Greg Hudson said the vulture had a wound. Ed Henson, chief executive of the American Association of Zookeepers, said he could not recall a zoo facing similar incidents with such frequency. And holy fucking shit. I'm really glad Leo's not here so that you and he can't get into
A zoo debate.
heated debate over the zoo. Just close the fucker. The animal's free. That was funny. Go to Bray's channel if you want to see. It was like 40 minutes
Yeah, we
of
argued
him
for
agreeing with you.
I don't know. San Diego Zoo does a
aggressively.
lot of good. A lot of good.
Aggressively agreed with you.
I mean, if you look at like say orangutans, they're losing their habitat.
That's the
So
example I use too. If you watch my video about them being ambassadors and stuff from the zoo's position, absolutely. The St. Louis Zoo that's close to here does a lot of good work. I think the Dallas Zoo does too, but
Well,
it's a
they
balance.
did. I'm like,
How
fuck.
much? Yeah, somebody's sabotaging something. Something's going on there. A bear got out at the St. Louis Zoo last week. A bear. Yeah, that didn't make the news. I guess.
A bear.
What the fuck?
Yeah, the St. Louis Zoo. Maybe there's some kind of movement going on with like animal rights activists that are.
I don't know.
releasing all
Animals
these-
get out, so like they learn and they watch. So the cats are always
Was the bear on
intent.
cocaine?
No, unfortunately not.
No.
I'm sorry,
But-
I cut you off.
But no, I worked at the San Diego Zoo in retail, right? So like what do I know? But one of the things I get to watch was all the animals, and they completely watch like what their trainers do and stuff like that. They are completely, especially the big cats, they are so aware where that door is. And then they've also had like animals get out. So the bonobos got out. They're pretty smart. And once one gets out, they come back and they go, "Hey guys," and they all go. And so they were like, "Where are the
Found a way
bonobos?" They're out, and they have to do a lockdown when the zoo, like an animal gets out. The zoo has to do a lockdown, and they usually bring you behind like metal doors, just in case. But yeah, bonobos went straight to the trees, of course.
Yeah.
So that's where they were. Another one was a hyena. Hyena got out. Hyenas
Spotted
are also
hyena?
smart. What?
A spotted hyena.
Yeah, I think so. Spotted. I don't know I know that hyena has what, 6 species, something like that. A few.
Four. Yeah.
4. Okay. Yeah, but also found a weak point, was able to crawl out, and they go and come back for the other, hey, stupid, come with me.
This is how you get out of this cage. Yeah.
Right. So they teach each other, which is really interesting. But yeah, the apes are really good at figuring out how to get out, and cats, big cats are.
We call this stream tonight Zoo Break 2023.
But hyenas are trippy because when I look at a hyena, I think canine, but they're more related to cats from what I read. Is that right?
Yep. They're if you ever look at a palm civet, you can see the transitional form between the two groups actually. So it's if you want to know what that organism might have looked like, the last common ancestor between felids and hyenas, look at civets, because that's sort of the halfway point. Now, because this role that hyenas play is actually it's not unique to them. It's an ecological niche, cursorial pursuit carnivores, right? They're not even the only ones in Africa. The African wild dogs are crazy good at it too. Wolves fill the role in most of the northern continents, though. So, but it's the same type of build towards a body plan for pursuing prey over long distances and kind of running them down and wearing them out.
I think hyenas are the ones with the outer vagina too. Like
Yeah, the pseudopenis. They
Yeah.
have the ladies have a big old pseudopenis.
Wait, female hyenas have a penis?
kind of.
Why?
Well, it's not really a penis; it's an oversized clitoris, because they're the leaders of the pack, or the clan. Hyenas actually, it's not called a pack; it's called a clan. But with hyenas, the females are in charge, and they're bigger than the males. They are generally more aggressive than the males, and they have a pseudopenis. It makes giving birth really hard for them. But hyena pups are
Is there
super
an
cute.
Sounds awful.
evolutionary advantage to this?
Having the pseudopenis?
Yeah.
Like a social hierarchy sort of
Okay.
thing.
So kind of like, us when, we get to wave our dicks around and all the
Yeah.
other
And then the female hyena's like, yeah,
jackasses
look at
get to
this.
be like, he has a bigger dick than me. I'm going to
Yeah,
go
some of
over
these-
here like a cuck.
Some of these
sorry.
animal dicks are a little bit much, like
Oh
the
my
ones with the
God.
barbs and stuff. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
was-
I don't understand what's up with duck penises. It's been explained.
it's a
just not
corkscrew.
sticking.
It's like
I
if you can make it,
know.
guys, you're worthy.
Did you
Right.
guys watch my show yesterday? I talked about wasp penises.
Wasp
No.
have penises?
Yeah. They have sword penises with
Sword
stingers on them.
penises.
As
They're
if
not like
wasps
that
could not get worse.
Yeah, the hymenopterans, they just weaponize their genitalia across the board, though. There's no difference when it comes to a ant, bee, or wasp, there's no difference between assault and sexual assault, because when it stings you, it's stinging you with its vagina.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
You know-
well, that's.
So back in the days when Buffy was a thing, Sarah Michelle Gellar was on Buffy, and there was this one weird skit where they were flirting with each other as a couple, like, hey, ha ha ha, ha. And they would just like one of them would go, sting me, baby, and the other one would like, okay, I'll sting you, and she just bends over like, oh, and
What the heck?
Like I used to be like the biggest Buffy nerd, and like Spackle comes out of like here with like I don't know if she's like finding like editor's cuts.
I
Well,
don't
that's Saturday
remember
Night
that
Live.
scene. I've watched
saying.
Buffy.
Oh my God, right? If you're a girl in the 90s, like it,
Yeah.
or late 90s, early 2000s, like holy shit, like Buffy was the ish. And
The early
Spackle
seasons
will,
especially, but
yeah, Spackle comes out of here with like, it's like, what the fuck, dude?
just like secret knowledge.
I
I
know.
said Saturday Night Live, to be fair.
Oh,
Like,
okay,
back
okay. Yeah, I am not up on every single SNL episode, but that makes more sense. Because that seems like a scene I would have remembered.
Sorry, Aunt Jer. She's complaining about my obsession with animal penises.
Animal penises.
Yeah,
I love
this-
So we can't talk
animal-
about echidnas and how weird their fucking penises are. We'll just
all
move
four
on.
of them.
Right.
4 of them. That seems excessive.
It does. It really does. And
Why
I
are you
don't.
guys trying to tell echidnas how to live their best life? Maybe
know,
awesome to have 4
Sometimes
penises.
need
You don't
more
know.
penises.
Yeah, but what if? I don't think it'd be awesome to have four penises as a human. I don't know how the other penises work, but like I would imagine like having like four potential stiffies at once. And what if one like goes away and the other one's like, "Hey, I'm still here."
Well, it's caused by blood pressure, so I don't even know if that could happen. I think they would all respond equally. That's why. Oh, never mind. I'm not going to tell you something gross about pornography. Sorry.
Fuck's sake.
We're totally educational here.
4 times the
Totally
fluffer's
educational
work
for you.
to put in.
There's some people that probably just bypass the stream altogether because like I put news. It's like getting woke today, bitches, and you had no idea how fun I was gonna make it because I can't be serious for shit.
Yeah. Need a title for this little news program, though.
I know, yeah, totally serious news and shit.
Yeah.
This week in penis news.
Yeah.
All right. So
Planets and penis eye.
penis eye. So
That means multiple penises, right?
sure, we'll go with that. The important thing is that no one's going to stop you from saying it. We just want you to like tape
feel
everyone's
empowered.
reactions when they say it and like post it to your what do you call it? Your YouTube channel so we can watch it with popcorn.
Penis eye.
All right. So I'm going to listen to rednecks talk about climate change.
Oh Lord, we're in for it now.
Area last week got me to thinking about the role of government and how dumb people are. First of all, I got a gas stove. I'm not that worried about any of that on account of I'm sane and real problems exist. But some people got so ginned up over one report from one agency that they convinced themselves they were going to hear a knock at the door and open it up to find two commies with a dolly asking them to step aside. It was completely ridiculous. There was never much of anything to that one, but it got me to thinking, what if there had been? What if it had been a genuinely dangerous public health hazard? Would these people have reacted any differently? I don't think so, especially after COVID. And that's scary. It didn't used to be like that. We used to understand that's part of what government does. The government used to be able to go, hey, y'all, turns out lead is real bad and we're going to need to get rid of it. And then they just get rid of the lead. But I don't think that would happen today. As long as a Democrat was in office, if they put out that lead report today, these same idiots would be all over social media with fistfuls of number 2 pencils like, come and take them, because they're too dumb to know that ain't the same thing. It would happen. And I mean, yeah, these people have always existed, just not in these numbers. I can remember growing up in the rural South when seatbelt laws became a thing. And yeah, I knew some old boys back then who were like, no, sir. I tell you right now, if I get drunk and lose a fight with a guardrail, the first responders are going to know I died like a man. I can promise you that. Like, they did exist, just not in these quantities. And it's scary. It also makes me grateful for the things the government got done before we reached this point as a society. Have y'all ever thought about the things we have that they would lose their minds over if they were new proposals today? They would. They'd be like, fire department. You want to use my money to pay for my neighbor's house not getting burned down? Well, he can't afford buckets. Maybe he needs a better job then. And you're going to build a bridge over there? That's where the poor people live. Let them swim. It's good for them. Right? They're already pissed off that poor kids get free lunch in public school. You don't think they'd be upset at the notion of a free education if it was only just now coming up? Of course they would. Social Security and Medicare, forget it. They'd scoff at the notion. They'd be like, we already told y'all back in 2020 we're willing to let all the meatballs die just to keep Dave & Buster's open. You really think we're going to go for that? Get out of here. Right? I mean, dude, the list goes on with them. They'd be like, hold, let me get this straight. You want to use tax funds for a building that you're going to fill with books. Not guns, not cans of chili, books. That's what you want to do? Yeah, I don't think so. All right, and I guess I'm just saying I'm glad we got these things done, got them in under the wire before we as a society got hit by the dumb truck, Hey, y'all, back with more in just a second, but I want to let you.
All right, yeah, most of it, he's just like winding down after that, and then he's gotten most of his point out by now.
I mean, he had some good points. I like the part where he's like, we have to keep the Dave and Buster's open. Sorry about your meemaw.
Yeah, I mean, but I think it's like a cogent point. It's just like we got to a point in society where like we're willing to kill ourselves as long as, like the libs are pissed off about it. Or freedom is now me not having to do shit for other people.
Yeah, the general attitude of like, well, what do I need like healthcare for? Like, I've had people like mad about, usually it's young people at work that are in their 20s and they're really healthy. And they're like, why do I have to have health insurance? I don't need health insurance. And it's just like kind of an attitude of like, even with that, like people are upset So I think that attitude kind of extends out like, well,
Well,
I don't
no
have
one's
kids. Why do I want to pay for you to have kids? I don't have kids.
no one's ever taught them about how that helps the society that they live in, and they don't
Yep.
understand that. That's the only thing I can think. No one said, hey, even though you don't want to have kids, having good schools creates a society of more educated people, so that when you get old, the people that are taking care of you aren't total dunces. And they don't seem to grasp that. They're like, no, I'm not having kids. I don't need to pay for the schools. Yeah, somebody's gonna take care of you when you're old. Somebody's
The
gonna be there.
irony. Sorry, I didn't mean
Go
to
ahead.
cut you off.
No, yeah,
I was gonna say the irony for me is that maybe this is my perception that 99% of these people who are like, oh, why should I pay for something for somebody else, are Christians. And, the guy who like started their religion, his main point was like, share what you have, kind of communistic, a little bit like, you don't need to be rich. Everybody should be able to have enough to sustain life. And they're like, no, that's not right. I won't do it. God bless America. And it blows my mind.
It's a slippery slope. Do you want to end up like Argentina? Did you see what happened in Argentina
I
They did
mean, it
not.
doesn't
and
have to.
Venezuela?
They did not. They believe it all happened because of communism or socialism.
That's what they were taught was the bad guy all their lives.
Yeah, and
It's the bad
folks looking
guy.
into shit. Socialism, bad, good enough for me.
I mean, the fact that, like, I don't know, there's a bunch of Nazis at one point living in Argentina specifically, because that's where they all ran away to. That might have something to do with it. I don't.
It might.
I should
I
have
don't think
said
that's common knowledge.
Venezuela. I think it was Venezuela that was the one that had the implosion. My bad.
Well, yeah, no. Okay, so yeah, Venezuela is the one that they voted for a president who was like, I don't know, they had a really bad economy. They had actually kind of a similar plan as I think Sweden at the time, because like they were leveraging their oil.
Oh, I
Like,
was gonna say Nazi gold.
yeah, Nazi gold.
Yeah.
Same diff. And then they started out like, I want to say it's Sweden. It's one of the Norwegian countries. But instead of like sitting on the money and like investing, they went to the point where, like, oh God, I used to know this. Something happened. And then rather than being a little more conservative, the president wanted to keep the economy booming, like going in a forward trajectory, rather than just saying, okay, we're going to level off, which would have been the better thing to do. And
Right.
so he started printing money, which any economist will tell you is just economic. I mean, you're asking for an economic implosion at that point. And so it wasn't the socialist policies, because he did start doing great things like, food stamps and healthcare for all, and all the things that you would do if you actually cared about the people that you're governing. But when you start printing money, like, it makes all these things unsustainable.
Right.
Apparently, so does waging war with Ukraine. So if you're trying to keep a stable economy, don't do those two things. And then, yeah, that was Venezuela. Argentina. All right. So it depends on what period of Argentinian period you're talking about, but a lot of it has to do with U.S. governmental interference, and we like fucking with people, like a lot, and
We're the bullies. We like to go to countries and we're like, oh, hey, you got a lot of this? That's great. Let us get some. Then we're going to take it all. And
yeah,
then we're going to make fun of you for being poor.
yeah, like all
I'm
of
like,
it.
it
Like,
makes no sense.
have you ever looked into like how we got the Panama Canal?
Oh, my goodness. Yes.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
we're just
People don't realize that we were still colonizing by that point in time. Right?
Oh yeah,
Time we had to build,
or today, like right now, today. Yeah,
yeah,
whatever.
we're still colonizing today.
Puerto
especially
Rico.
Central America.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Puerto Rico's
Samoa.
like, nah, you can leave. It's okay. We don't really need you here. And we're like,
Or
no,
any African
we're
country
going.
with oil. It's
Right.
Not just African country, any country with that's mostly brown people with oil in the U.S. is like, oh yeah, we own you, by the way.
Yeah. You can't be brown and have natural resources. We fucking hate that.
Well, and
That's
keep
not
in
how
mind,
this
though,
world
countries like
works.
Saudi Arabia definitely work it to their best advantage. Like, so they
I
have a lot of
mean,
control.
we slap the T label on their people. There are definitely those people in different parts of the world for sure, including our own home country. But we like to slap that label right in the middle to like get our country all riled up. Oh, do whatever you got to do to quash that threat. While we're also taking everything that they have as far as natural resources go.
Yeah. You're just not allowed to have natural resources if we can't have our hands in some of it, pulling the strings. And it's so funny. I was watching a video. I think it was on oh God, with Rashad Ritchie. It's Indefensible or in something. But yeah, it's with Dr. Rashad Ritchie, and he was showing this interracial couple being stalked by Nazis, and it was a white girl and a black guy, and they're like following them, recording them, like as they're like walking down the street. It's, like,
modern day.
Yeah.
I have that recording here on my Twitter feed if you want to share it.
Oh, do you have it? Do you want to share it?
I think so. I think it's the one you're talking about. Just a second. We get it pulled up here.
Yeah, and they're just like, do you know that, like, you're diluting the white race, and do you think there's like it's a coincidence that all nations with brown people are not as what do you call it yeah, as well off as like white nations. And I'm like, nobody thinks that's a coincidence, dude. Nobody thinks that. You think you're a racist, so you're gonna think it's like what you call it, white skin. But no, it's actually white interference. And
I mean, 99% of the time, I'm definitely a pacifist. A snarky pacifist, but a pacifist, if that's possible. But like, also, when did it become acceptable for Nazis not to get punched in the face? Because I'm down for that.
Well, listen, this guy's gonna make you want to punch him in the face. Listen to this, okay?
We don't condone punching people in the face here.
This will make
in the throat
too, though.
You guys know race mixing was illegal up until 2000. Race mixing was illegal up until 2002. You're going to give up 50,000 years of evolution if you mix up with this dude.
Are you filming us?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Just look awkwardly. No, you realize that race mix, it's going to give up 50,000 years of your evolution, right? There's 2 billion of those people being born because of...
Did you know that it's actually better evolutionary to like...
No, it's not.
I'm not...
Yes, it is. It definitely is.
Yes, it is.
having a more diverse genome makes you more resistant to diseases and other genetic defects that come from things like inbreeding with a close population. So yes,
let's take a look at this.
Diversity is a positive thing.
Does he sound like he's not pro inbreeding?
I mean, when I look at
I can hear it in his voice.
So when I look at like King Charles, I think there's no way there's inbreeding in there. No way.
I'm a scientist. I'm a scientist, and I'm not going to talk about this.
Literally, you're just throwing down your genetic line. For sure. Pretty much, you're just LARPing. You're LARPing as a European in America. If you had any actual like heart and integrity,
Are you
done?
done?
Go back to
Are
you done? What are you, a Jew? Are you done? Are you Jewish?
No. Are
you done though?
Wow,
are you Jewish? I'm saying the truth.
Yeah, Joel, catch that. Are you Jewish? And these people are just out in the public, and nobody
hits them in the face.
I'm glad to see these people standing up for them. These other people along the way. But
no, hold on.
Actually, I am a scientist, and you are wrong.
Stop. Hey, it's done now. It's done. So you think
you stop that? Stop.
No,
that. Stop.
So what happened here is he saw this girl, which he thinks is attractive. There's no doubt
Right.
about that. That's what the
Right.
problem is here. Is he's attracted to this woman, and she's with a black man.
You think hybrid vigor is a thing?
Bro, film me, bro. Film me. Film me. Just stop. Stop that shit.
What are you?
Alright?
What are you? Some SJW warrior?
Dude, I don't give a fuck.
Hey,
It's done.
white people are only
It's
7% of the world's population.
Hey, that's me. And I'm part of that. And I'm part of that. And it's done now.
What's so great
Whatever
about
you're doing.
white people? I mean, I'm just gonna say this. Like I have heard the model that eventually white people might go away. I've heard this possible. Like eventually we become darker. I don't care. What is so great about being white? Really, I get sunburned. I don't understand.
Right. It's like I have this. It's not a genetic defect because it was good from our ancestors that lived in the
the
north
colder,
and the
if
cold
you're
area.
above a certain latitude, I believe. It's beneficial for reproductive health.
Yeah, it allows us to absorb more vitamins from the sun in the winter,
Right.
because it's cold and there's less sun. So
Yeah,
that's what
there's
happens
less
with
direct. There's
spiders.
not as much direct sunlight.
I don't live there anymore. I don't live in Northern Europe anymore, so I don't need that. It's just a holdover from my ancestors living there. I'd rather have a complexion that was darker and I could enjoy being outside all summer long without having to roast like a lobster.
I mean, and
How
the
about
thing
you,
is,
white people?
I mean, I wouldn't want to see any group disappear, but like if it's something where, we are intermixing and it is our decision, it's like this isn't important to me. I'd rather be with someone I love than, that's one thing. It's not like, the Native American genocide. Because
Right.
There has been attempts to wipe out entire races of people. There's been successful attempts
I
on
will
that,
bet he's totally okay with that. I will bet he's not following people around, with cameras. Like, hey, did you know that we came here and we were wiping out millions of people just because their skin was a little bit darker? Do you know,
there's probably entire phenotype groups in that were present in South America and North America that we'll never know about because they were wiped out by disease before we discovered,
as well as their culture, because it was inferior and it wasn't worth knowing about.
Yeah.
And we see that from the way that we treated their children, and the bones that we're still finding under monasteries. Like, it's so fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
And he's worried about this girl choosing to date a black guy. And I don't even know if he has any semblance of our nation's history, but wiping out the white man isn't even on the short list of our atrocities.
It's not even possible at this point. I mean,
right?
Where everybody's gonna, if things keep up at this pace, everybody's gonna be like a nice shade of beige or something.
And I would love that. Like, one less thing for politicians to divide us over.
Right.
But the sad part about it is that Europeans are all clinging to that, is that you lose your ancestry with something like that. You never lose your ancestry. We got one thing straight right there. But me and Maya have been talking about how, in our private conversations, about how the descendants of slaves have already lost their ancestry. That's gone.
Right.
So,
yeah, they're not worried about that. Like, I'm never gonna have the pride that a Kenyan, an Italian,
Irish person.
Yeah, like I'm never gonna have that. I mean, I can do like a 1, 2, 3 and me, but it doesn't tell me a lot.
And you won't know who those people were either.
Right, exactly.
And if you know where they were from, you won't know what maybe your family was this, in this trade, or your family was involved in this historic event. And you'll never know. That's a lot of the history, just the history of Africa in general, that we don't get here in the West either.
Right.
Is a lot of monumental historic events happened in Africa, and the only part of Africa we ever hear about is Egypt.
Right. And there's a rich, deep history of African culture, and I don't know. I don't think that they would ever talk about that, because then you have to talk about, well, what happened? Why don't they do that anymore? Well, you see, we found oil over there, and that alerted missionaries to the fact that they didn't have Jesus. And, they worship demons. So we had to go over there and erase their culture and rape the land of all of its resources. I just don't see that in like any of Abbott's or DeSantis's history books. Make it happen.
Look, don't you bring your critical race theory in my classroom.
Yeah, what are you bringing the CRT
I'm
stuff
kidding.
up in here
Don't you
now?
tell the actual truth.
We like this version of it where we brought all these slaves over to the U.S. because we wanted to make sure they had jobs.
Right. Yeah, we supplied jobs to Africans, to unemployed
Yeah,
Africans.
did you see how they were living before? And they sold us, or they sold each other to us. That's who sold them. That's the one.
It's their fault. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like who sold the slaves to the Europeans, right? It's like, well, that's a complex issue in and of itself, right?
I mean, it's like I was saying to my daughter, it's one thing if, like, you're selling, like, prisoners of war to, it's like, well, we don't have anything to do with all these bastards, and, keeping them is a detriment. So, like, if you have something you can do with them, here, have at it. They didn't know. Like, I mean, and at the point that they did know, they stopped. Like, everybody was appalled, and it's like, what the fuck, dudes, and cut us off. And then we get into breeding farms in the United States, which is another thing. So it's just like I could do a whole stream on this. I'm just gonna laugh at stupid Nazis who don't understand that they are being pawns in this war that the oligarchs have against the 99%. And if it were possible for them to wipe out all the brown people and all the Jews and all the, LGBT community, they would still come after them. Their situation would not improve. They don't understand that.
I do think we get to see what this fool looks like here in a second. If y'all want to see what he looks like.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I didn't know because there's not much more of this confrontation.
Yeah, I was going to say.
If we intermix, we're gonna become.
Who gives a fuck, dude?
I give a fuck because we're the only creators of society.
No, we're not.
No, we ain't. Net
We're
migration
the
when
only
it flows into
creators
white
of
country.
society.
Right?
Yeah.
The only creators of society. Yeah,
Wow.
except for societies were existed in Africa before people in Europe were still living in caves and stuff like that. And I'm not just making that up. That's
No. Yeah.
Yeah. There were villages in Africa before there was any kind of civilizations in Europe.
Exactly.
Stop.
Hey,
Walk across the street.
Okay, name me one black country that you would want to move to.
What the fuck is a black country?
Africa. It's a whole country.
I was gonna say that as a joke. You beat me.
The country of Africa, yeah.
I've heard that too.
Name me one.
Yes, name me one black country that you would move to.
This is my guy right here. Just go.
Name me one black or brown country that you would move to. Everybody moves into white countries. Everyone moves into white countries for a reason. Yeah, exactly.
That's Trump right there. Right? You hear that?
Yeah.
That Trumpism?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Everybody wants to move to Greenland.
Because you don't have a retort.
I was just thinking about white country. I'm thinking Greenland is a good shot of being a white country.
I thought it was going to show his face. Sorry, guys.
You know what's a true white country? Antarctica. And I would like to talk once again about pulling all these motherfuckers up, just dropping them off in the middle of there, letting them fend for themselves. Like,
right on the coast where they won't die immediately.
You're saying we want to dump the racists with the pedophiles and Antarctica? We already have the pedophiles over there.
Racists and pedophiles, like all in Antarctica.
You all didn't listen to him. We can drop them in Antarctica because they're going to be fine. They're capable of building societies. They're going to be just fine. So we can take this society that they don't like anymore because it's too brown, and they can build their new white society on the white continent.
Yeah, I mean, it's truly a white continent. And you can go there, you can call it Whitelandia. You can ban all the brown people. We'll allow it.
The only the penguins will be the blackest thing around. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, who doesn't think the penguins aren't getting eaten?
Yeah, those are going to be like
But they're
yard
so
chickens to
cute.
them.
They are. They're adorable. I guess we're gonna have to keep the zoos open so we can force breed
Yeah. Oh
penguins.
my
God,
gosh, they
I'm
would.
a horrible person.
They would find a way to cultivate penguins. Probably use them as labor.
They would because they're evil. Wait, who did I kick out? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm there, and then Beck is just gone forever.
Beck's
Beck,
never returning.
buddy, we
Poor
miss
Beck.
you. Oh, speaking of critical race theory, let's talk about Jordan Peterson and his. I don't know who's like a better meme lord. What do you say, Jordan Peterson, Elon Musk? Like, who is the
Yeah.
king of the memes?
Okay, so
So,
Elon Musk disturbs me more, and I'll let you go next after me. So Elon is like sociopathic. He keeps saying he's autistic, but I don't believe it. I think there's something else. Dude, his reaction to the cave explorer divers when they were trying to get those kids out of the cave, and like he has this proposed plan of what they ought to do, and the cave diver goes, "This is a dumb idea because of this reason." Elon Musk said, "Oh, that guy must be a pedophile," and tweeted it out. like somebody with power calling somebody a pedophile because
okay.
they didn't like your idea. That dude is disturbing. Now Jordan Peterson is also disturbing and says really horrible things like let's revisit, looking at women as property. Huh. Like disgusting.
That
But
was his more recent right there,
he
Jordan
has less
Peterson. Yeah.
yeah, he has less power. He has less power. Elon has more power.
Jordan Peterson has a I think Jordan Peterson has a bigger following of people than Musk does. At least he does now. I think at his peak, Musk probably did have more, but he's lost all his support from the left, like all of it since.
All of it, yeah.
Because I up until like what maybe 2018, I was still like, okay, this guy is he's kind of weird, but he's doing this space exploration stuff. Finally, privatizing space exploration, which I think is great for advancement in that field. But then what really turned me off to him was the cryptocurrency crap. Because to me, cryptocurrency is just like MLMs for boys, right? It's a way to grow your portfolio and increase your forex account. And then he's saying that you should be able to pay for stuff with Dogecoins and stuff like that. It's just
All right, everybody, make sure you weigh in on what I have 9 votes so far. Peterson is leading by a little bit, so make sure you get your votes in.
You know who's worse than Peterson? Just because she's so obnoxious. Pearl. Have you seen Pearl?
oh,
I have
just
no idea
Pearl
who Pearl
Davis,
Oh my gosh.
just
Who's
pearly
Pearl
face. Oh,
Davis?
she will drive you crazy.
Let's show
She's a
my
stem cell.
Pearl video.
Yeah, find me a Pearl video. Someone. I have no idea. Who is this person? What does she
You're
do?
gonna punch your monitor. She's a pick me girl.
You know who Andrew
Oh, I
Tate
hate
is,
pick
right?
me's. What?
You know who Andrew Tate is, right?
Yeah.
I hope you know who that is. It's like,
Yeah.
She's the
man.
female counterpart.
she's the one who kind of like kept platforming him after he'd already been like fled to Romania and was already. Oh goodness, was it just Pearly Things as her channel, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
Oh,
Like every
goodness.
time she comes through, I just want to punch my monitor or my phone.
There's some short ones here. You want to watch one?
Yeah, let's do a short one because I would like to not punch my monitor. I'm trying to stream here.
Let's see, videos.
Let's talk about high value women, guys.
Oh God. Right.
When you sleep with 5 guys, you lose a lot of value. I mean, who wants to sleep with a slut? I just want to say
okay.
that like I'm imitating.
I gotta.
Nothing.
I gotta.
No,
I got some-
yeah. I totally understood that. It was, you're not talking about like my sex life. I got it.
You want to talk? She says government-sponsored laziness.
Oh, wait a minute. Where am I at?
Therapy is a scam.
Yeah, let's not throw any attention to like a.
That's long.
The
Yeah.
women's rights stuff, anything along that, she's awful.
I deserve
Is there
a
anything
high-value man.
short?
That's 46 minutes. There's stuff like 8 or 9 minutes long. I intimidate every man. Men are not doing enough. And these are all in quotes, like she's going to respond to people saying this.
Oh
You have
God.
all the rights.
How about men are not doing enough? What is that?
Men
This
are
got to be
not doing enough.
interesting, like how she slut shames black women because they would like their men to step up.
Yeah, here we go.
All right, so
She has a very white lens too.
Do you think that motherhood is valued more so than fatherhood? Jump in, let us know.
Absolutely.
Did you all catch that?
I can talk from personal experience. I'm a father myself, 3 kids, twin boys and a girl.
Motherhood is
I
valued
had
more
a
than
father.
fatherhood, is what he said, right?
And
Yeah.
the way
Why is the audio
society
so
is
low
viewing
on
men,
this?
like I've previously heard on the show, is like we're disposable. The way society has built up women into the destruction of the nuclear.
Because of
Let's get up here.
value females more. That's one of the
Pearl
main contributing
gives
factors.
So I'm just to clarify, you're saying that because of the bad fathers, they just assume it's all of them? Or
Yeah.
Because in my experience, I find that there's a lot of good fathers that don't have access to their children. And a lot of times, like, women are spiteful and don't give them access, and then they'll call them deadbeats, but they're not really deadbeats. It's just because the women won't give them access to their kids.
They're not part of the equation of being a competent fathers.
Right. But to me, like, I would say they are, because a lot of times, like, it's a different perception when they're...
What somebody think of the men, I guess, is the argument that she's making here. There's some points that she's making there that I don't necessarily disagree with. I think the courts do, or at least historically, they have favored the mother when it comes
yeah,
to
they're
parental.
getting better at it. And some states obviously are better than others. But Spackle, is this the bitch that you showed that you kept sending me videos of earlier this week?
Probably.
Oh my gosh, she was horrible.
Her and Peterson's daughter.
Oh yeah. I think. Is there anyone
I
who
was
hasn't
gonna-
seen Peterson's daughter? Okay, yeah, no, that.
I think
Not
she
for
has
that.
one on here too.
Who,
So-
Peterson's daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's actually, it might be worse than Ben Shapiro's sister. It was Abby Shapiro.
Yeah. What of that Brett Cooper that looks like she's like 15 that they have on? She's from the
I haven't
comment
seen any of her
sections or
stuff,
whatever.
but yeah, I've heard about her. Well, I've heard people bitching about her.
She's just like a little clone of Ben Shapiro. It's so funny. She actually kind of like looks more like him than Abby looks like him. It's bizarre.
Yeah,
It literally
people
looks
say
like they
that
put
too.
looks like they literally put a wig on him and did his makeup, and that's
Okay, I
Eric
found a
Cooper.
video to share.
Titan is sending me shit. Titan, this better be a palate cleanser. God damn it.
I was going to show you some Peterson
Yeah,
daughter.
no. What you got?
How do I share?
So there should be a little sherry thingy down at the bottom here.
Okay. Do I have to select the sound?
You shouldn't have
I don't think
to?
you have that problem here
Yeah.
as much as you do on.
Okay, give me a second here. I'm trying to... Okay, I paused it. There we go. Okay.
Okay, so...
So one of the things that's...
There we go.
Okay. So a lot of things that are flying by in these circles with Tate, and I can't remember some of these other users' names, and like Tate's not the only one. There's several guys, and then Pearl and hers, that you'll hear the term high value women a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And really high value women is, are you submissive? Are you demure? Do you let your man take the lead? Do you make more than your man? Like they really
You got to
want
give
like a
your man
submissive
your
person.
money. That's the
And
thing.
don't sleep around. Be pretty virginal. Yep.
But forgive him if he sleeps around.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause you want to be a
But
high...
here we go.
You don't want
Because
to nag him.
a high value man is gonna sleep around.
So
The high value woman won't. That's the Andrew Tate philosophy.
Makila? How do I say her name?
Sure.
So she isn't as bad as the others, but still.
If you've been promiscuous in your past. This is a sad question. I think there's so many people in the red pill community that are saying, oh, if you're not a virgin, then you're worthless as a woman, which is ridiculous. You guys probably know I'm not a fan of promiscuity. I think it's damaging to men and women, but I think it's particularly damaging to women. I know some women will be promiscuous when they're younger and then grow up and regret it. And I would say, forgive yourself like you would forgive a friend. There's no point in tied to your worth at all. If you're
I just want to pause here. She's the only one out of the red pill group that seems to say this, by the way. She's actually, for one, like, she's not the best, but she's better than them.
Human, and you
That's
make
a low
mistakes,
bar, though.
then you identify the mistake, and you try and fix it, and you try to become the
Very low.
person that you admire. And that's all anybody can do. And if there are people in your life saying something makes you worthless, get rid of those people. Stop listening to the red pill stuff, because it's not tied to your worth. Just try to be better every day, and try not to repeat things that make you feel bad or that hurt you.
So I found that interesting that she.
That's interesting. Did she get canceled
she pushed
after that?
out finally. No, not yet. But I mean, people have outed her because she's been seen hanging out with Tate before. There's pictures of them like they're on a date, and they're like, "No, we were doing a business conversation," and I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
don't know. I remember when Tommy Lahren got canceled for saying that for taking a libertarian stance on abortion. So I always have to ask.
Like, yeah, Tommy Lahren was actually not. That was never her. When you watch her stuff before she was on Fox News, that wasn't her. Those aren't actually her positions. Those are written positions for her to take. It's not.
Yeah.
Which is still gross. I mean, you're basically selling your soul if you decide to be a Fox News anchor and
Right.
get up there and peddle their lies. But like Tucker Carlson, he doesn't believe half the crap he says. There's recordings of him mocking their constituents or their viewers for believing the bullshit he says. He makes fun of them behind their back.
Yeah. Yeah,
They
that all
don't
came
care.
out like last week or so, which is
Yeah.
interesting. I mean, which I think we'd all been speculating was true. And I remember Blair White did a video on that, like bitching about how nobody at Fox News believed what they actually said on TV. But it feels good to actually see it in court documents, honestly.
When Blair White calls you out for your integrity, you know,
right? You kind of
Yeah.
missed the boat. But okay, so Titan wants to join the fun.
This
and-
better be funny, Titan. I need to laugh right now. Today's been a.
I'm just saying. Oh, probably help if I.
Oh, it's a musical number.
Donnie, who are you kidding?
Frankly, we did win this election.
Everything you deny, you're admitting.
No collusion.
No quid pro quo. You can blame the insurrection on X, Y, or Q.
Spike in the vote count out by trying to release the Kraken.
With all of that Q and nonsense points back to you.
I only need $11,000, fellas. Give me a break.
Donnie, we got your number. You should be in the pen. Yeah, you should wear a number for T-R-E-A-S-O-N. 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 You were never that good at spelling. C-O-P-F-E-F-E. But the grounds for indictment are compelling. C-O-P-F-E-F-E. You thought the Congress, the courts, and the country were yours. Like your caddy, your coke, and your coke conspirator.
The Mops exhibit.
Donnie, we got your number. You should be in the pen. Yeah, you should wear a number for T-R-E-A-S-O-N. 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 Conceded. They were gracious in defeat. Conceded. You're a big lead, narcissistic cheat.
We will never give up. We will never concede.
You changed the GOP, sure as shooting.
Your favorite president of all time, better than Lincoln, better than Washington.
Now it stands for grifters.
Better than
of
Lincoln.
the
Wow.
Donnie, we got your number. You should be important to life. Yeah, you should wear a number for T-R-E-A-S-O-N.
right.
I feel so silly because I'm like, man, why am I lagging so bad? Because I've got the YouTube screen open. You realize it's showing us a low resolution version of it above.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
probably.
No,
I don't.
no, it's good.
I
It
keep
makes
it
it
on
so that,
auto because when I
yeah.
don't do that, it just, yeah.
The audio sounds fine.
Mm-hmm.
The image it just goes. It's like a slideshow, but it doesn't bother me. I'm watching it in the YouTube screen. I thought my system was lagging, but it was. Anyway, that was funny.
Yeah. That was nice. Thank you, Titan. So, let's see. I think he did another one, but I think I'm gonna use that for the intermission for next week's because can never have too many of those. The other one I wanted to play. Did everyone hear about the Dilbert creator getting canceled yet again this week?
Oh,
What, you've
yeah.
been canceled before?
Getting canceled is really good for your publicity. Your popularity goes way up once you get canceled.
Apparently, he can't stop like not getting.
Did he say some? He does like young Earth creationist stuff too, doesn't he?
Daily, and I'm Jesse Doll.
We'll go through this.
So you may know who Scott Adams is. He's a cartoonist. He's the creator of Dilbert. He's amassed quite the social media following after having come out as a sycophant for Donald Trump, as a bootlicking, shameless, dignity-free performer in Trump universe.
Wait, hold up. What'd you say?
I never liked Dilbert. I was always like a Calvin and Hobbes fan, or like, gosh, what else? I'm trying to think what else. There was like
Garfield
Foxtrot.
was my favorite.
Foxtrot was good. Garfield, okay, yeah.
I
like Garfield.
I love Garfield. Really? Garfield is just okay for you?
Oh, yeah, it's not my fave, but like I think Bree likes Garfield, yeah.
Yeah,
Odie's
I like
cute.
Garfield. What about Marmaduke?
I forgot
Marmaduke was
about Marmaduke.
Marmaduke was my brother's favorite. It was all right.
Yeah.
What I didn't know about Scott Adams is what a virulent, insane, public racist he is.
Oh, shit.
I saw this clip on Twitter, and I had to go to Scott Adams' YouTube channel to make sure it's so brazen and so crazy that I went to the YouTube channel to find the clip on his channel to make sure that it was real, that it wasn't some fake thing, deep fake or whatever. I don't want to be one of those people that gets fooled. It's real. It is real. Scott Adams is saying he doesn't want anything to do with black people, that he moved into a white neighborhood surrounded by white people, and his advice to you, if you're white, is to get the hell away from black folks. To get the fuck away, he says. He says that it makes no sense for a white American to give any assistance or help to a black American. This coming from the same style of conservative that can't shut their mouth about the one line in the I Have a Dream speech from Martin Luther King about the content of one's character over the color of one's skin. Watch this with me once again. This video needs to be shared. They talk about cancel culture. This guy is a multimillionaire. He lives in a mansion somewhere, probably Florida. Well, I don't believe cancel culture is a thing, but normal, regular, everyday Americans need to know about the virulent racism that's being spewed, the vitriol, the hatred being spewed by Scott Adams, the Dilbert guy, about black Americans. Watch this.
But I have to say, this is the first political poll that ever changed my activities. I don't know that that's ever happened before. Normally you see a poll, you just look at it, you go, whatever. Oh, this is interesting what other people think. But as of today, I'm going to re-identify as white because I don't want to be a member of.
Yeah, so what he's talking about here is a couple of years ago, he sent out, and I don't know if it was a tweet or if it was a video, but he was like, I'm going to identify as African American because I want to be part of a winning team. And this was around the time of, I think around the time of the riots. And another time when he was moaning and bitching about being canceled.
So he's being anti-trans and anti
Thank you for making that distinction. Yeah, I can just choose what I want to be, anytime it suits me. And so this is again him choosing to be part of a group, because he's a cishet white guy, and he always has choices. He understands that he has choices. He doesn't understand what not having choices looks like, unlike some of the rest of us who happen to be black or women or trans or gay, or Like, holy shit, have to live in the same neighborhood with him. Like, so this is what that's building on.
A hate group. I'd accidentally joined a hate group. So if nearly half of all blacks are not okay with white people, according to this poll, not according to me, according to this poll, that's a hate group. That's a hate group. And I don't want to have anything to do with them. And I would say, based on the current way things are going, the best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from black people. Just get the fuck away. Wherever you have to go, just get away. Because there's no fixing this.
Yeah, and he can't understand why he got canceled for this.
Does he realize he canceled himself? That was like self-cancellation. Right there, what he just said, get the hell away from black people. That's just canceling yourself, blatantly.
Yeah, and I was trying to, and I couldn't do it before the stream. I wanted to find the poll he was talking about, because most of the people that I've seen talking about this are just like, oh my God, this fucking racist. Which, I mean, by rights. But I'm sure it's like some kind of a poll where black people don't feel comfortable around white people because of like shit that they've seen, It's probably white cops, like, honestly. But like, it's, the right, they always like,
And you gotta ask what demographics they pulled from. Were they people living in impoverished neighborhoods that that didn't have a lot of positive interactions with the white community, or felt like oppressed by the white community because of the poverty that they were forced to grow up in, things like that. Yeah, where you're taught that as part of your education growing up, because you're going to be able to survive, like how to handle getting pulled over if you're black and things like that, the different stuff that you should do. Than stuff that someone like me would have never even thought about being an issue, like how you turn your dome light on and make sure your hands are on your steering wheel until they ask you to put them in someplace else, things like that. I never even thought about until I started having more black friends. Where I grew up with, we didn't have any black students in my class, for instance.
Right. Which isn't uncommon for a lot of people. I mean, there's still a lot of white people today that have never met a person of color in a lot of parts of the United States. So it's just like, I understand if like everybody around you has this understanding of a thing and you've never known anything different, you don't know to look for alternate information. But there's no reason, at his status, there's no reason he shouldn't know better. Or, if you're going to like make a video, at least like look into like your information before you like go public with something like this. But,
this kind of reminds me, of kind of the privilege of like how everybody sees things, differently. And
yeah.
You mentioned that you could like maybe hide being gay, but you can't hide being black, things like that. But I think about like other privileges too. Like I have to, I'm leaving the grocery store. It's late at night. I have to make sure I have my keys in hand way before I step onto that, parking lot. Like I have to be aware of my surroundings in a way that maybe a lot of men don't really think about. Like I've run into situations like that where, and then if you were to like run a poll and say, I don't know, how many women feel safe around men in the parking lot at 8 o'clock at night, all of a sudden there might be a poll of women that say, I'm not so safe. So now,
what, though?
Now is the men gonna go like, okay, well now we need to move away from women?
You know what, though? I think that the men would pull the same way if they were being honest about stepping into that parking lot, but they'd never be honest about it.
Mm-hmm.
They would never say, "I'm scared to step into that parking lot at night." They'd be like, "Oh no, I'm not afraid."
Oh yeah, I'm fearless. It's like I'm not scared of anything. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. But
that type of emotion is just it's totally inexcusable for men. It's kind of sad.
I did find an article from NPR that came out today, and I just want to say this real quick. The Washington Post, Los Angeles Times, and other newspapers across the country say they would no longer carry the syndicated Dilbert comic strip after cartoonist Scott Adams urged white people to get the hell away from black people. He uttered his racist advice during the online video program last week, during which he labeled black people as a hate group. Adams opens the episode discussing presidential bid by Republican multimillionaire entrepreneur oh God, Ramswamy. Then 13 minutes into the video, Adams began his screed by citing results of a recent public opinion poll conducted by the conservative-leaning Rasmussen reports. By telephone and online, the group surveyed 1,000 American adults with this question: do you agree or disagree with the statement, "It's okay to be white"? The report found that 72% of the respondents agreed, including 53% who were black. Some 26% of black respondents disagreed, and 21% said they are not sure. The poll found that 79% of all respondents agreed the statement, "Black people can be racist too." So he's saying that black people are a hate group because in a poll of 1,000 people, is it 72% of the black people said that they disagreed with that statement.
Well, and that statement's so weird. So like
I don't even know what the fuck the statement means. Like, where they giving
Yeah.
context? Is there context? Yeah. And I don't know. He's stating that he was a victim of racism because he got kicked off UPN because he wasn't black. Like, I don't know if anybody here remembers, like in the late 90s, there was a Dilbert cartoon that used to air weekly on UPN.
I didn't know. I mean, Dilbert's just, I don't know. I mean, I like Daria, but Dilbert wouldn't be on my list to watch. I think that was maybe Dr. Katz days. Do you remember Dr. Katz?
I do remember Dr. Katz.
Yeah.
I also remember Duckman. Do you remember that used to come in
Yeah.
USA?
Yeah.
Which I don't believe is still a network.
Yeah, but when I think about Dilbert, like, oh, no, I don't, no excitement. Same with the Kathy strip. I don't really care for Kathy.
Really? I loved her. That is so crazy. But I mean, to each his own.
This Dilbert cartoon, was it marketed towards adults or kids?
It's like a office humor, kind of adult humor.
Yeah, but I know the strip was. I guess I'm wondering what kind of time slot the cartoon had.
I don't remember. I want to say it was prime time.
Because you could see Garfield like in the morning cartoons with
Yeah, no, it wasn't
shows,
morning. No, it wasn't morning. It was more like in the prime time-ish, but I couldn't tell you. Like, it definitely wasn't 7.
Was it more like The Simpsons and Family Guy kind of time?
Yeah.
No,
cartoon?
Simpsons is prime time. Like, you get Simpsons at 7. I want to say this was done like more like 8:30.
Yeah.
But I don't get me quoted.
Shooting
I
for
don't
that
know,
same
anybody.
niche though, right? Of adult cartoon.
Yeah, but with the fame of The Simpsons, like everybody was trying to capitalize on that and find their Simpsons, and it was just one of many that came and went. It got a couple of seasons. It wasn't it wasn't canceled because they weren't black. Like a lot of black creators were saying that they, once. And we saw this too with a couple of networks where they would have like these black, or like the WB was another one where they start with these black shows, and then as they kind of get their footing and are making money, then they ditched all the black shows and now it's like all white.
WB did do that, huh?
Yeah.
Never really thought about it until you brought that up.
WB and UPN did that.
Wow.
And,
Is that when Buffy came around though?
So Buffy was rescued from Fox. Fox canceled Buffy, and then WB was already in like, I don't know, Dawson's Creek was showing up, and all the other ones too.
Teen romance or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, it was that era. And she fit in really well with that genre. Well, the series.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's more the right wing, like finding stats wherever they can and trying to make whatever they want out of it. I don't
by statistics.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Well, one of the
they
things
do it a
is
lot.
too, you'll find I mean, racists, all come in flavors, I guess. So but I think the most annoying one is the I'm not racist. I just am a race realist. And they come in more insidious, They're just like, can we all agree that
This is a great question, though.
Sometimes black people or predisposition to be able to run faster than white people? And can we all agree that, Asians are just better at math? And you're like, no.
Right.
Just agree with the stereotypes that we have for these people, so we can move on with society. It's like, no, those you don't.
Can't tell you how many like arguments I've had in Twitter about those exact same like, verbatim statements. It's like, well, how do you, no.
In this study, white people had a higher IQ than all the brown people, and you're like, uh-huh. Well, let's talk about that. Why is that?
Let's talk about that.
What kind of education
did they throw
do these
out all the
people get?
questions that the
Yeah.
brown people did well on before coming out with this version of the test? Holy shit. We don't want to think about that. CRT. Get away from our babies.
Hey, look, that stuff in Oklahoma City, nope, we're going to cut that out.
Yeah. All those things. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I'm not saying that black people are not racist. I often have to tell black people, it's like, yes, you were racist. And I'm not, a lot of people have a lot of bad experiences that have led them to their conclusions. My grandmother hated white people. And this comes from like her having like to keep her job because she was a really good seamstress. But there were white people that would not like just tell the tailor, the guy that ran the shop, to throw their clothes away if they saw a black woman touching their clothes to alter it. And,
Yikes.
she was a really good seamstress. He didn't want to lose her, but she couldn't interact with any of the people because they would freak the fuck out. And yeah, my grandmother was horribly racist, but she had, I mean, it was just a series of events like that where it's just like white people for absolutely no reason wanted her to like suffer and die because of the color of her skin. And I didn't know how to have any other conversation with her about that. It's just like, yeah,
Your
grandma's going to be
grandmother,
racist.
she'd be old enough to know people that lived in slavery, wouldn't she? Someone your grandmother's age.
She was born in 1926.
So her grandparents probably would have been.
Her grandparents would have been. Her parents might have been. I'm not sure. No, it's definitely her grandparents. But yeah, I think at the time she was born, everybody knew somebody who was formerly a slave. And it very, very, very common for black people of that age to be racist. And a lot of people are like, oh, you can't be racist if you can't oppress others. And I'm like, well, okay, I guess it depends on your version or your definition of racism. But I mean, if I don't want you in my house, if I don't want my child playing with your child because of the color of their skin, I mean, it sounds pretty racist to me. Like, I don't care if it's founded or not.
I know some people talk about like this reverse racism thing, but I kind of
there's not reverse racism. There's just racism.
It's not reversed or
yeah.
I mean, I think that like if you are traumatized by people, I think that it makes sense why some people are apprehensive.
Yeah.
For sure. Like if you've had negative experiences with white people, I can totally see that as being a thing. And
yeah, I'm not blaming her. I'm not
more
saying
like,
she came to a bad decision. I'm not,
maybe it's
I
like
totally
a
understand.
prejudging. Would it be more like prejudice as opposed to racist? What do you think?
I think of racism as a subset of prejudice. So, I mean, it would be all the same for me.
Yeah. I know that like the racism power thing has been a discussion, and I mean it's worth discussing in the sense that like I don't understand white people like him that are so threatened. I don't understand why he's so threatened. Like I just picture the "Don't tread on me" snake that says, I'm white and afraid of everything. That's kind of where he's at right now. He's freaking out about something that really hasn't happened to him, but it might in his brain, and it doesn't make any sense. And so but if something happened to you where you had a bad experience with white cops or white teachers, and from that you were intrinsically treated differently, all I can imagine that you would have some feelings about that. Just like if you've been assaulted by a man, you might have some feelings about being in an enclosed place with a guy that you don't know, or So I don't know.
No, yeah, and we working in healthcare, there are a number of times when we have female patients, they cannot have male caretakers, whether, doctor, nurse, GNA, doesn't matter. They cannot be alone in a room with a man, or else they will freak out. And it's because of, trauma in their past. And yeah, you just, you deal with it. But, and again, I'm not blaming her. I'm not saying I think that especially for white people, there was such a big push in like the 80s and 90s, like, yeah, racism bad, you're bad if you're a racist, da 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 da. And I generally agree with that. But again, I wish I had like another black person on here. It's so different in the black community when we talk about racism, because yeah, most people in the black community would, if the tables were turned, like as a white person, we would still call them a racist. Only it would be the bad racist. And, for a black person, it's just them dealing with the circumstances upon which they were raised. I myself, I went to a Catholic school. I had friends whose homes I couldn't go into because, the only way a person of color was allowed into the house is if there were the help. So it's a, I would like to say that I can rise above it, but I was raised in a different time too, where I'm able to, there's not as many white people like that where it feels ubiquitous and I feel like I have to be on guard all the damn time every time I'm in a space with one. So I don't know. It's different trying to, and you're talking about different things when you're talking about racist white people and racist black people, especially the older crowd.
Do you think I think there's a term code switching?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that do you think white people even acknowledge that? Like that there's oftentimes because I find that a lot of white people don't even think about it.
Yeah, you're the first white person I've heard bring it up. Usually it's black people educating white people on what they have to do and how exhausting it is.
You can thank Dragnot. He taught me what that was.
Okay, understood. Wait, who are you talking to? That white people do it?
No, that white people don't even acknowledge that that's a thing. They don't.
That black people have to do, or
yeah.
And even if they do, I want to say to a lesser degree, not even to the point of where you are. It's just like, well, why can't they just be professional? And it's seeing the difference, but not acknowledging why things are being done the way they're done. It's like anywhere
the
from
reaction to the difference, right?
Yes,
Seeing the difference,
yes.
but not acknowledging the way we react to the difference as individuals and as groups. So
right, it's like black hair as it naturally grows out of our scalp is unprofessional, so or trying to talk to people. It's like, okay, a person with a black accent isn't speaking unprofessionally. Like, this is how they talk. Like, it's no different than you with your southern accent, but because it's something that black people do, it's automatically bad. So
yeah, I'd recently heard someone dogging on people saying axe. I'm like, that's just just an accent. That's
yeah, or dat.
That, yeah.
They need to watch that NPR thing when it talks about, he's a linguist and vocal coach. So he teaches like people like that are in theater and stuff, or movies to talk a certain way. But he was going through all the different accents and where they come from and stuff like that. And he went through and there was a black linguist that was explaining how black English evolved differently than white English and why that was.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's like a whole set of roots and history that starts to kind of develop. And this is why they speak different, like in, Creole versus, I don't know, the Piney area, like, which is Appalachia. People often think Appalachia is just black or white folks. They always think of like, the hillbilly,
right.
Sog Bottom Boys band kind of thing. But yeah, a lot of black folks lived up there too. and they learn how to speak a certain way, and
Right.
like we just have no acknowledgement because we like our white centric, accents.
Right, right. Yeah, so I mean, it's not those things specifically, but just like those types of things where I do see that, well, I mean, obviously, white people notice differences. That is like very apparent, but I don't think, and I can't say that it's racism. I see people doing this to other people all the time. Like, well, I've never been exposed to this, so you must be doing something deliberately to piss me off. And it's just, and again, white people do this with each other, but it's just like not being charitable. Instead of asking, well, why do you do this? It's just, well, that's not professional, or you're not trying, or X, Y, or Z. So I don't think there's any, and I don't know what the point of reference would be. Like, white people don't have to try as hard as black people do, because it's like we were raised a certain way, and we have to come outside of that to fit in with a different group. And I would think like maybe only immigrants would have an understanding of that, because like white people don't have to try to. I mean, you can choose to try to fit in with other groups, but it's solely your choice. Everything's tailored, and I'm not saying this to be racist or anything. It's just, it really is. Everything is tailored to where white is the standard, and it's
Yeah.
to fit in, or to get the job or the raise, or whatever the
You're
thing is that
expected
you
to try to
desire.
emulate that.
You have to. You have to.
Yeah.
And black people know this. Black people will tell you this. White people like their thing, and this is their norm. This is what they're used to. If you want something from white people, you have to make them feel comfortable. And I mean, it's not that you don't. For black people, you go to a black person's house. You can't just wall out and it's like, no, we're gonna do things my way. No, you're in my house. And so again, I don't want it to feel like I'm being all super duper racist here, but
No, I think it's just a very
know.
different experience.
Yeah,
And it's something that we
exactly.
don't really think about. Like, I don't
Right.
have to, which
Right.
I don't mean that in a mean way. No, 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 no. But I mean, like, it really isn't something until, like, one of my black friends goes, hey, this is a thing. And I go, oh.
Like, oh,
And then I
really?
look into it and I go, oh, we are really,
Like,
I don't
really?
know
You've
about
dealt with this your
everybody,
whole
but
life? And your mom and your grandma too? Like, I've never thought about this. Yeah.
yeah, like,
It's-
well, it's just like there's just so many experiences that we're ignorant to, frankly. Like, where I had to, because I was a homeschooled kid too, so I was in a
Mhm.
very sheltered environment. But once I had friends that were Hispanic or Black, like just learning different perspectives, and I still am always learning too. Like, there's a lot of
Mhm.
stuff that I don't know that I just think about and go, wow, that's a thing. Like, like you mentioned the hair,
Mhm.
like I keep thinking, oh, like you could grow it out if you wanted to, you could cut it close if you wanted to, you could braid it, and that's my naive thinking, not even thinking that, oh, if you were a little too, I don't know what the froed out kind of thing, or you're a
Yeah.
little too braided, suddenly we're going to deem it unprofessional. That's not something I would naturally think about because we assume because we have choice, right? So we just
Right.
make an assumption, and so I don't know. It's ridiculous. Also, Pickle says thanks for inviting her. Her phone
Aw.
was
Yeah.
getting hot.
Oh, the phone. Yeah, it just phones do not like StreamYard, or we're in EVMux here, but yeah, any of these streaming platforms, they're not like, I don't know how people do it from phones at all. It's like the phone just like turns red in your hand and like melts on the ground or something.
Right. Now your house is on fire. Enjoy.
Right. But okay, we're approaching 2 hours here. So, like, yeah, I have a fuck ton of videos, but we're gonna cut it at 2 hours. It's been a good run. And Spackle, I know you want to like kiss the husband or do whatever it is married people do these days. Do you have anything coming up this week?
Nothing planned. If I do anything, it's gonna be spur of the moment. I might do maybe a spur of the moment like panel or something maybe, but other than that, nothing really.
Bree, I know you have a bunch of stuff coming up, or you always do. Do you want to chill?
Yeah, actually I do. I don't know what day this week yet, but I'm going to do a fund drive to get some new bugs for the hive. So I haven't set a day for it yet, but I'm going to talk about I'm going to do, uh, probably pick a video to review in maybe something more bug related and open up a fund drive to see if I can't get some money to purchase new creatures, including mantises, because the hive doesn't have a mantis right now. If you notice, my microphone has
Oh
been bare
yeah.
for months.
Did both of
So
them? They both passed.
yeah, they have a
Aw.
life cycle. They only live between 12 and 18 months when they live their full life cycle. So I've been moving and fussing
Yeah.
around so much that I haven't had time to get some new ones to raise to adulthood, and I didn't breed the ones I had. So
Mm.
here we are. But
Yeah.
there's lots of cool bugs that I would like to get for the hive, and just the funds aren't there naturally right now. But if you guys want me to have some more bugs to do on the show and stuff and talk about, then yeah, we can definitely do that. So I'm going to be doing that later this week. So keep your eyes open for that. On it's still a ways off, but on the 12th of March, I'm doing a thing with Megan Lewis of Digital Hammurabi. Later this week, I think I'm having Miss Lemon back on again to talk about some supernatural stuff or something. I haven't settled on which ones we're going to pick, but it's going to be angelic. We'll just leave it at that.
All right. All right. Well, I do appreciate you guys for helping me. My co-host is going to be a beach bum this week, and I applaud him for taking care of his mental health. And I hope that all in the chat and in the stream are doing the same. Taking care of your mental health is very important. Making sure that you are properly rested and taking needed time off work is insanely important. So nobody's going to take care of you the way you can take care of you. So know when you're hitting your limits and making sure that relaxing things to kind of get you into a better headspace. All important things. So I guess I don't have. I keep telling myself I'm gonna do a proper end credit something or other, but we're just gonna do it the way all the greats have done and say bye, everybody.
Goodbye.